Hello, let's talk about how to actually create a custom GPT. We've explored some in the past that have been built, and the purpose of these is to create a little bot that lets us reuse the prompts that we have and do something for us without having to code or create the prompts all over again. So what we can do is in ChatGPT here, you click on Explore on the left-hand side, and then over on the top it says My GPTs. Click My GPTs, and then you'll see a list of all your GPTs that you can edit or do something or delete. But I'm going to create a new one now, and this is the configuration screen, and the configuration screen lets you fill in this information for how to create your custom GPT. So for example, let's create something really simple. No way. So this is just a simple ChatGPT bot, that custom ChatGPT that just says no to everything and offers a joke. So it says no to everything, but at least shares a joke. So spelling, let's get some spelling correct, but at least shares a joke. Then we give it some instructions. Say no to everything and share a G-rated joke. Okay, so then you start, and over here on the right hand side you can see that it starts to build what that looks like. In fact, the right hand side is interactive. I can say, what is today's date? And then you can start to test what the response is. And so you can then create this iteratively and have it do it. So there's instructions. Conversation starters are prompts that you give it that show up here as defaults. So let's say, what is the date is my first prompt. What is the latest in AI news? And you can have up to 4 of these. I'll just stop there. You can upload files. You can specify a recommended model. I've never had a need to change this model. Just say whatever the user prefers, and that way too, if it's a free version, a person with a free version account, it will use whatever their model is. And then you have other capabilities. Do you want this ChatGPT, Custom GPT, to search the web, to use Canvas, which Canvas is that editor where you can switch over to editor mode? Do you want it to create images? I'm just going to say no to each of those because I don't need them for this. And actions, we'll explore actions later, but actions will allow you to get it to do more complicated things, interact with external servers and data and such. So it can do quite a bit. Now I have, to make this a little bit more complete, I have here a master prompt already written that I have thought about and filled out. So who are you? This is following that Rachel Wood's master prompt with a couple modifications. So here, who are you? Act as a polite assistant, refuses all with good humor. Context, it explains that it will never comply with the user's direct request, instead politely refuse and say some variation of a joke. And notice before it just said no. I'm now wanting it to say something a little bit more like, no, I cannot help with that, but I'll tell you a joke instead. Who is the audience? Anyway, criteria, be polite, refuse with some variation, follow up with a G-rated joke, must be appropriate. Here's some examples that I provided it. And here's the specific instructions, and including, I added here, if the user says stop, return the chat to normal with your normal responses. That way I could break out of this. And then the response format, use plain text, structure the responses as a polite refusal followed by a joke. So, applying what we've learned here, master prompt, giving it really good details. I'll close that. and you'll see that it restarted this prompt, and I'll say, what's the latest in AI news? Oh yeah, I forgot that at least on my Chrome browser, these buttons don't work inside of the GPT builder. They just display. You have to go outside and actually test it to see outside of the builder to actually test those buttons. So I'll just say, what's the latest? Test it. And you see that it gave some variation of a polite refusal. And then why did the math book look so sad? Because it had too many problems. So you could then play around with this and fun. But now we have a ChatGPT, a custom GPT. And here's this little button here that I could upload my own photo. Like if I had created a photo that I want to represent this GPT, or I can use DALL-E. Let's just use DALL-E, which is built in. It's a built-in image generator, and it will come up with something appropriate and not critical, of course, but just gives it some visual representation. It may take a second or two. Okay, so it created this little icon for us, and if you don't like the icon, you can just keep saying use DALL-E, and it'll create more images or upload your own. We're going to press create over here. Oh, notice that you can also specify the model. I haven't had a need to change the model. I just leave it at the latest model. But if you did, you could go into thinking longer or into a different type of model. You could specify which model you wanted. So, but I'm satisfied with this. Let's click create. And then you get to choose who you want to share this with. Only me, or anyone with the link or the GPT store. So only me means only I can see it, and it'll appear on my left-hand side of my ChatGPT window. Anyone with a link means that I can use it, but I can also share it with other people, and they can then use it. And it doesn't save anything about those person. It just allows them to use it. But it's private in a way that it's not findable by anybody. It's only available if you or somebody else shares the link with other people. GPT Store means that it will be published and people will be able to explore it and find it in the store and use it themselves. So I'm just going to say anyone with a link, and I'll press save. Of course, the purpose is whatever your purpose is. Here is my link. And I'll go to view the GPT. If you ever need to know the link, it's up here on this top area right here. This is the link that you can then share. And here we are. What's the date? So what's the latest news in AI? Why did the robot go on a diet? It had too many chips. So, and you'll notice that it's, okay, how about the weather? Always make sure you test your prompts, test your system, and see, I'm going to skip the weather report. So it's changing up based on, and then it made a joke appropriate. What's a tornado's favorite game? Twister. Okay, stop, please. And because remember, that was my keyword to get back out and get back into normal. What's the weather? So test your use cases so that you can make sure that it does what you want it to do. Use your master prompt, and you'll see them on here on your right-hand side. So now have fun creating these reusable custom GPTs.